we believe that trendy travel doesn't always have to follow the trend, doesn't have to always be that trendy in order to stay in business and secure their market share. So today we're discussing about how we can give a strategic direction for them in order to respond to the change in Hong Kong tourists' preference. So our theme today is that we want to capture and retain, because we think that only capturing is not enough. It doesn't satisfy the essence of the tourism industry. So therefore, it's really important to also retain our customer or the potential tourists that we're trying to target today. The overview of the case is that trendy travel is currently facing an eroding market share to the zero tour and also individual travelers. We can see that to trendy travel, 70% of their revenue comes from inbound travelers. However, in that 70%, 38%, which is the largest chunk, comes from inbound travelers from mainland China. However, we see that there is an eroding trend, given the fact that there is this high demand for Chinese from mainland China to go on to the zero fee travel. Moreover, there's also an individual visitor scheme which promotes more individual travelers. So we see those as threats. In terms of complication that we pinpoint today, first complication is that we see an eroding number of inbound travelers that purchase tours with trendy travel 8 to 10 annually, and that is an annual rate which is going to continue without our plan. And second is that the 2003 adoption of IVS, which is the individual visiting scheme, which will increase number of provinces in China by 28 more provinces to allow those people to be able to access to IVS and be able to come to Hong Kong individually without having to be binded with tours. And we see that alone right now, number as of 2010 is that there's 62% of individual tourists coming to Hong Kong from mainland China out of the total mainland Chinese travelers. So we see that as a very immediate threat that we have to tackle. And lastly, we see that the complaints of CO tour, even though it has been very highly popularized, in 2010, the complaint has more than doubled from 2009 to 56.7% in 2010. So we see that even though the trend of the travel has gone to zero fees, however, there's still a bad negative signal coming from this market. Next, we want to analyze why at first these tourists are interested in zero fee to begin with. So first of all, we look at what the target or the customer size of mainland Chinese travelers. We see that more than 50% of them are farmers, and most of them really care about affordability, and they have lower price tolerance in terms of traveling. However, once they have just moved into middle income sector and they want to splurge on them, they want to travel, they want to look for options that are very budget and has a lot of affordability. To them, we see that once they look at the idea of the zero fee travel, to them they first see affordability, of course, because the price is set below the cost. However, compared to other list price, meaning that compared to other regular tours or other things, it seems to be much cheaper. So that's just one incentive for them. Moreover, and that also again says that it's almost like, because people like to get good bargains, we all feel great when we get something so much cheaper than the market price, and that is a message or the psychological message that is sent to the buyers. However, they also feel that it allows that degree of flexibility, that to some degree they can still tailor the tour package, that they could also go for optional seaside and sightseeing, and go for just the specific things that they want. And also thirdly, to be able to have that shoppability, meaning that if they come to Hong Kong, a place of a shopping center, the shopping center of Asia, they want to shop, and that allows them to not also spend time with the sightseeing, but also to shop. So as our recommendation today, we see that first of all, we want to, in terms of the current sector or the current product offering that Trendy Travel is having. We want to maintain the existing Trendy Travel to secure the mid and high-end tourists. Because not only that this low-end market is very attractive and is growing in size, they also have the number of, Trendy Travel has a very established image in servicing in mid and high-end travel tourism sector. So we say that they should continue that and stick to their strength, because that's something that you don't know in the future if these people, since given the number of complaints that has been increasing, the trend might reverse in the future. And this is something that Trendy Travel shouldn't lose its strength. And secondly, to respond to the short run market that we seems that is very sizable and it's very attractive, we want to launch Trendy Light. So Trendy Light is there to capture the lost market of individual travelers and also the budget traveler, because we think that we want to provide that degree of flexibility and that degree of being economical to respond to that market. As again said, that it's very large in size, and Chinese population, if given 50% of them are going to somehow want to spend on the zero or budget tour, this might be their option.
I would talk about the first recommendations, and my friend would also mention about the second one. Well, let's see, our first recommendation is to maintain what's the same model as the companies do before. So let's see and let's compare between Trendy Travel model and Zero Travel model, why we choose to stay in Trendy Travel model and why we not move to Zero model. So let me explain what it is like the companies is doing right now. First, the companies provide regular tour, which means that, okay, they have tour guides, and the tour guides bring the tourists to the shops according to the preference of customer. While for Zero Tour, the tour guides, they have designated shops which provide and decide by the tour guide. And also in terms of commission, they charge a really, really high commission from the designated shop. So therefore, and also the receive agency pay salary to the tour guides in Trendy Travel model, but in the Zero Tour model, the receivable agency has a subcontract with tour guides. So the rationale of why we choose Trendy Tour and not the Zero Tour is as following. As you can see, the pros of Trendy Tour is that, well, firstly, it treats the tour guide fairly. It pays salary as it is, but secondly, it has a high customer satisfaction. According to the review, it's at 85 customer that is satisfied with the service of the Trendy Tour. So that means the quality of service is a really high, and the strength of the Trendy Tour. The only con is that Trendy Tour is only captures small market, middle income travelers. So this is the con of having Trendy Tour. For Zero Tour, the only strong point is that in terms of affordability. As my colleague said, they provide a lower cost tour. So how they could do so, they provide low cost accommodations, they provide use coach instead of flights, and also they exclude standard destinations, so that allows them to lower their cost. However, we see there's a many negative side of doing so. First of all, they provide low quality of service, because since the tour guides receive money in terms of commission, so they have to push their customer to buy the product. So this is a really negative side of the Zero Tour. Second is terms of low flexibility, because again, this is because of commission system they have. So they charge no-show fees if the customer not stay or absent from that particular shop, which, well, of course, that would cause a dissatisfaction to the customer. Moreover, they also limit, they also kept trying to set the minimum stay time, so that, again, it reduced the flexibility of the customer. Zero Tour also had cons in terms of unfair treatment of tour guides. The tour guides has to pay money in advance in terms of a driving part or a shopping commission, which the tour guide feel that they are not treated fairly, and that would affect the quality of service they give to customers also. Lastly, in terms of hidden costs of the tourist, which incur. So, well, the hidden cost is that it surcharge on certain customer. If suppose you are a teacher and they assume that the teachers has less probability to spend. So therefore, in zero tour, they charge more on teachers. So not necessarily that the zero tour are cheap, but there are also hidden costs here. So that's why we come up with a recommendation for them to stay and doing the same, not because zero tour guide would ruin their strength in terms of quality service. So we suggest them to stay the same and keep target the middle and high income travelers and provide the same products as regular tours and optional tours for the customer to choose.
But because staying the same is not enough, so we need extra. What do we need? We need to capture the large market with our competitive edge. What is our competitive edge? It's service quality that we have. So with the large market of the poor people and the flexible people, the individual who wants the flexibility, the options, we propose this. Launch a budget product line to capture a large market slice. So the rationale behind this is that, first, people who come to Hong Kong are mostly from China mainland. So the number of Chinese people who come to Hong Kong is 22.7 million people, which accounts for 63% of all the people who travel to Hong Kong. So this is a really large market and it's growing at 26.33%. So this is a large and potential market. So what's next? They are also top spenders. They spend, account for 64% of all the spending that is spent in Hong Kong. And also the per capita of the spender is also higher than other people that come from other places as well. So it's $959 per person instead of only $866 per person from people of other countries. The third reason is that most of the Chinese are poor. 50% of them are poor farmers, and they live under the revenue of only $1,200 of revenue per year. So they have low income, but there are a large population of this. So 50% accounts for 1.34 billion people in China. So there is a large market of poor people. So we see this. And the fourth reasons that we choose to launch this strategy is that repurchase decisions depends largely on professionalism of the tour guide. So the study that is conducted in 2010 shows that professionalism of tour guide ranks as the first factor that people consider as a repurchasing factor. So the last reason is that people started to prefer flexibility. Where do we derive this? We see that the individual travelers in 2002 accounts for only 2% of the travelers that come to Hong Kong. While in 2010, 62.8% of the people who come to Hong Kong are individual travelers. So what does it say? It says that there is a large market for people who prefer optional tours and people who prefer flexibility. So with the CAGR, compound annual growth rate of 14%, we see this as a large opportunity that we need to capture. We need to make it ours. So we propose to launch a product line with the product called Trendy Light, or it is basically a budget tour. So we propose two product categories, which is the general one, the shopping one, because people tend to prefer to shop in Hong Kong. And the second one is the general one. So the difference between them are basically shopping. They focus on shopping and they will take tourists to shopping neighborhoods instead of shops, so that it's more like their options where to shop, but not pushing them to shop. So we can retain the service and please them. For the general one, we take them to both sightsee and shop as well. So for how do we make this light and we'll charge a lower price. So the place to eat, we take them to cheap but famous and delicious places. For transportation, will ask them to take trains and public transportation instead of taking private buses. And for accommodation, we'll provide them with quality 2-star hotels instead of 4-star hotels that typical tours do provide tourists. And for extra tours, we also provide them optional tours to appeal to individual travelers who prefer flexibility. And for guide service, we only hire and monitor the service that the guide provides, and we will take the evaluation of the guides very seriously. So for the guide revenue, how do we compensate the guide? Because currently for the free, low-fee tours, they offer guides the revenue through commission. So this is an incentive to push tourists to shop, but we see this as an incentive for guides to push and offer low quality. So we offer guides instead salary and tip and also bonus. Salary will provide them with the minimum wage, and for tip, good quality usually brings about higher tips. And for the bonus, this depends on customers' evaluation of the performance of the guides. So this is obviously an incentive for guides to provide good quality, so they have a higher bonus. So what is the outcome? This strategy is going to satisfy every party that is involved in tourism industry. First, it will satisfy the customers because they will get good quality service, and also their demand is also more served because some people prefer optional tours and some people also prefer affordability tours. And for a tour guide, they will have constant revenue, so they do not have to be scared or pushed, and so this is a fair treatment for them. And they are also incentivized to provide good service quality to increase their revenue as well. For the RD or the tour operator in Hong Kong, they will capture a bigger market size using their competitive edge. And also, they will have a sustainable profit and growth using this strategy. So at the end of the day, this strategy will provide a sustainable and profitable tourism industry for Hong Kong.
So how would we make the Trendy Light happen? The first half of 2013, we will spend it on planning new product line called Trendy Light. And the second half of the same year, we will spend it on contacting the relevant parties, which are the accommodations, the tour guides, and the DA. And also, in the last quarter of the same year, we will start our marketing attempts. And the marketing attempt will convey the message of Trendy Life as a budget tour, yet we offer the high quality service. And the sales would be started in 2014. For the financials, our team estimates the potential market size of a low-cost tour, excluding the zero-fee tour, of 50 million travelers each year. And the total spending that this group of travelers will be spending is 3,400 million US dollars. So with our competitive advantage, we estimate that in 5 years we would acquire 30% of the market share. Therefore, this new product line will increase our customer by 1.5 million travelers each year. For the cost estimation, our strategy will total 50,000 US dollars in additional costs. So at the end, what we're trying to do here is that not only that we don't ignore the potential market, which is growing in size and volume, but in order to do that, we leverage our strength, we leverage our competitive advantage in terms of service quality to offer something that customers want without dissatisfying them. At the end, what we're trying to do here to all stakeholders that are involved in this case, which are our company, Trendy Travel, the customers, the tour guides. So what we're trying to do here is to align the incentive of them. Not only that we're offering something that they want, but we also offer the incentive so that everything drives to the same goal, is to maximize service quality, is to really satisfy our customer, because we think that as to be a profitable company, you can't just look at the short run. You need to provide a sustainable result or sustainable strategy, which will answer the long run as well. Thank you so much.
How do you think in terms of a business model, in terms of the profitability of the company, why do you think it works?
First of all, we think that in terms of offering this product, some of the expenses can be shared with the existing staff or existing model that we have. Moreover, not only that we'll lower the cost for them, but that means also the price for them. But our cost structure also goes down by the, like for example, hotel stars that we're choosing. We're opting for something lower, let's say 2-star hotel. But we won't sacrifice customer benefit by lowering staff quality or service quality, because we feel that it could be done still, with the same service quality, and also be profitable with it, because at the end, it comes down to customers. If you give them something one time and you can't retain them back, obviously you won't be making a lot of money. But if you are able to retain them back, word of mouth goes out. We believe that that can also benefit us in the long run as well.
Adding on to that, the current low-cost model, they use the commission as a revenue to the tour guides, and so it charges tourists lower than the cost that is actually operated. So this means that tour guides has to push customers to buy. But we are offering the light package at the price that covers all the costs, but is lower than the typical tours. So it's different. It appeals to the current trend, which is flexibility and affordability. So it captures the tours without hurting yourself by losing. So we will charge a profit margin that is profitable to the company, but also appeals to these customers.
Is it your plan to substitute your current business by Trendy Light?
No.
How do the two business lines interact?
The two business lines capture two different segments of the market. The existing one captured the mid to high end segment of customer, but we see that the lower segment is a larger market and is still growing in this short time. So therefore, we have to capture these markets as well. That's why we are going to launch the new line to capture the lower end of the market. But we are not sacrificing the upper end of the market, because in the long run, this market will grow as well as the affluency of the mainland China customers is growing.
And add on to that, we have a travel light because the strength in terms of customer service quality is the strength of the company. So if we let the Trendy itself having a low tour that capture a low segment, we would sacrifice the image in terms of quality of service. So we designed to issue another line, travel light, to capture the lower sector, while we have also maintained the travel tour to capture middle and high income, so that we would not ruin the image of the company.
At which location are you capturing the customers? But my question is, are you capturing the customers in Hong Kong, or are you capturing your customers in mainland China? Your marketing activities?
The marketing activity is going to be conducted in mainland China, because here we're trying to capture the Chinese people from mainland China that is now could also opt for individual traveling or go for a zero tour, which we want to recapture them back and retain them with our brand.
Right, but then I'm wanting to know more about your marketing. Well, you highlight that you will spend some money on the marketing. So what exactly are your marketing? I mean, say, whom do you market to?
We market to the lower end of the sector. So basically the original Trendy is going to capture the mid to high income sector.
Are you targeting the end users or the local tour companies in China?
Yes, I mean, based on the normal practice, I mean, the DA would get certain percentage of commission in order to sell these packages to the customers. So normally we would, part of it is to market it to the DA through commission that is, normal rate that commission is given. However, we are also marketing to customers as well through like posters and things that are included in the financial part.
Such as online advertisement.
Okay. If you are targeting, Trendy Light, are you targeting a different segments of the DAs in China?
Yes.
Yes, we are going to target the DA that offer budget tour in China. And in our cost estimation, we estimated it is about 30% of total number of travel agencies in China, in mainland China.
Think about the DA, right? If for the zero fee tour, they can actually get quite a good commission, from those travel agency that offer this package, as compared to your budget tour, because on one hand you have to manage your cost, that means including your commission to DA, on the other hand, you can't charge too much because this is a budget tour. So why do you think the DA will actually help you promote this rather than the zero fee tour?
Okay. Well, let's say the advantage of a low-cost tour is in terms of the quality and the ability to retain the customer loyalty. But for the zero model tour is that, well, there's a statistic in the case itself that more than 50% of customers really have bad satisfaction. So we think that this point of helping retain, our model that would help retain and the customer would come back again and again would put an incentive for the DA to join.
Moreover, we also thinking of, in terms of marketing idea, that we want to show them what zero tours are actually like. As I showed in my the second slide, what the perception of zero tour to the customer in mainland China is actually different to what they're actually getting in the tour once they come to use the tour. One thing about these service product is that people pay first and then they experience it later, and in this case for zero tour they regret it. So we want to put that out there to reduce their information search so that they are informed about what zero tours are like, and they will opt for another budget tour that offer them something zero tour cannot, and something that aligns with their incentive and won't make their trip a living dissatisfaction.
But I think the question, if I may chip in, is that when you approach the DAs in China, what makes them answer your call, basically, because it's, they have a very good business funding, zero rate. You're asking them to do a business that, at least from day one, they earn less. So
how do you incentivize them? Why do you feel they
I think this is a gradual process, and it takes us first stepping stone. So first of all, we're looking at, customer on one hand, looking some degree of looking for, cheap tours. However, this statistic has shown and the finding has shown that the trend is going to reverse because they experience bad tour service. They experience something that they wouldn't want in their vacation. So this word of mouth alone can really affect the industry, can really affect potential customers that's going to buy. So firstly, yes, we have to put more effort in terms of pushing this to the DA. However, once the available choice is there for customers and they've seen the differences, they would offer something that is better. I mean, at the end, we believe that better product stays. Better product, is going to be wanted from customers. Yes.
Adding on to that, the DAs also want retention of customers. So offering a quality tours also appeal to them because it's possible that the customers will come back and buy tours for them instead of offering the zero tour, a zero pay tour. So this means that if customers buy a bad quality tours from this DA, they won't come back again. On the other hand, if they sell our products and the customers are satisfied, it is very possible and very likely that the customers will come back and buy it from them again. So this is a potential and the point that we have to make the DA see that we will create the revenue for them sustainably instead of those tours that give higher commission.
Basically, I think good product also represent the DA.
Yes.
So if they sell that product,
yeah.
then
Thank you, Thammasat.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So the judges will need time to deliberate, and your student ambassadors.
The zero waste 嗰個 sector。
係佢執行上好多問題要
係
解決。
啊，我就覺得佢諗嗰個唔夠。
佢諗到上一層嗰個 OK，下邊嗰度佢未諗清楚。
上個 C
諗清楚佢點樣做，即係可能好多方法，譬如話你有啲係大陸有啲咩 cstrip.com 啊，即係嗰啲網上嗰啲嘢，即係有冇辦法係用嗰啲方法咧咁樣？即係可能係 target 唔同，可能係揾啲 portal 去同你。